I'm sure they're smiling, but if we give them another big round of applause, all three lovely ladies.
Thank you for that. It's an honour and privilege to be here this morning to celebrate World Plumbing Day and to accept the first Queensland Ambassadorship for Women in Plumbing from the Master Plumbers Association of Queensland. Before I share my personal plumbing journey with you, I'd like to acknowledge the special guests that are here today. The Honourable, or the Premier, Anastasia Palaszczuk, Premier for Queensland and Minister for the Arts. The Honourable Mick de Brenny, Minister for Housing and Public Works. The Honourable Grace, who's sitting at my table, Minister for Employment, Industrial Relations, Minister for Racing and Minister for Multicultural Affairs, and Rob Mulhook, Shadow Minister for Housing and Public Works, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm actually humbled to be chosen as Queensland's first Ambassador for Women in Plumbing to help promote equality in the plumbing industry and to recognise the part all plumbers play in providing safe sanitation and clean water supply to protect the health of the community we live in. I'm sorry, every time I move, I want to talk to all of you so you can hear me. I look forward to collaborating with the Master Plumbers Association to promote plumbing as a career to individuals no matter their gender. I wanted to share to you today, the rest is up, is that okay? I'm going to share with you today about my plumbing journey, some of the challenges I faced on the way, and where my plumbing career has actually taken me today. And also to talk a bit about my blog called The Plumbette. My plumbing career actually started when my dad, Cole Jones, put me on as an apprentice in 2006. Our family plumbing business was J. Cole Plumbing, and it was a successful plumbing firm that specialised in commercial tenancy fit-out projects. At the time of my employment, J. Cole Plumbing employed 18 subcontractor plumbers and 2 apprentices, which eventually rose to 5 and possibly 6 by the time I was in my 3rd year. The reason I chose plumbing as a career was because my dad offered to teach me how to run a plumbing business, as I had a desire to build my own business and obviously work my own hours, and I could see plumbing could actually possibly do that. I had worked in the transport industry for 3 years prior to accepting my apprenticeship under my dad. During the 4 years of my apprenticeship, I found it very challenging, and there were times when I actually wanted to quit. I don't know if there's any apprentices that sometimes feel like that. I had to learn to manage discrimination, sexual harassment, and the feelings of just isolation and doubt that can come by being in the minority. I'm going to just change this for a minute so you can see. I wanted to share basically what my plumbing journey was pre-kids. During the times I wanted to quit, a pep talk from 2 of the strongest men in my life, my dad and my husband Jacob, who was sitting at the table with me this morning, would remind me why I chose this journey, why I chose plumbing, and why I was doing it in the first place. My mum was also a strong supporter, and she could not be with us today because she's looking after my children and taking them to school. While I was facing my own challenges as a female apprentice, the world was going through the global financial crisis. It was a crisis. It was this crisis and desire to change our business that initiated our new maintenance plumbing service, which would service domestic clients targeting stay-at-home mums. We advertised on a local radio station and penned up the term the Plumbette, and clients would request the Plumbette to come and fix their plumbing. Towards the end of my apprenticeship, I was awarded the Dux Plumbing Apprentice of the Year, which in Australia for 2009. The year before it was for Queensland, and I was also recognised at the Construction Skills Queensland Awards. And then a couple of weeks later after that, I found out I was pregnant with my first baby. 2010 was the perfect year to have a baby because our commercial work had started to ease during the GFC. It wasn't easy being a pregnant plumber, and I've written about it on my blog and on various other trade blogs that are online. I had to wear King G size triple XL shirts to accommodate my growing bump, and I was often throwing up in toilets more than installing them. After I had Esther, the floods in January 2011 prompted me to come back to work with Dad, and by that time that's when our maintenance work started to pick up, and we offset a lot of our commercial work to other plumbing businesses that were specialised in that niche. It was after that time that I said to my dad that I wanted to start a blog, and he thought I said I wanted to bog. When I explained what my blog would be about and what a blog actually was, he was very supportive and said I needed to start the Plumbette straight away. And the concept of the Plumbette for me was starting obviously an online diary of the jobs that Dad and I would come across being plumbers, and obviously share my journeys being a female plumber, to even, well, later on, even now, talking about parenting and how to manage a business and children at the same time. So for the first year of my blogging life, so I started the blog, and the first year of my blogging life, the only people that read my blog was my mum, my husband, and probably a handful of our clients. After I had my second daughter in 2013, I came back to work after 5 months maternity leave, and within 3 months found out I was expecting another child. When I shared the news with my dad, he told me he wanted to retire. So we made the painful decision to close our family business because there was no way I was going to handle a plumbing business with 3 kids under 4. At the time, I felt like a failure because the whole reason I started my plumbing career was to obviously take over our family business. But at the time, I thought, well, what can I do? What can I do to help promote females in plumbing? What can I do to share my experience? And I thought, I need to keep doing the Plumbette, and I need to be really consistent in writing it each week and to share different issues that are happening within the community based around the plumbing industry. So that's what I did. I decided to focus on my blog. I was more consistent in writing, and I grew a community of readers who not only got a glimpse of what it was like to work in a male-dominated industry, but gave them an understanding why plumbers do what they do. In 2014, the Plumbette was recognised. I'm just going to go to the next one. So this is my plumbing career during kids. In 2014, the Plumbette was recognised in the top 30 blogs for personal parenting by KidSpot, which is a parenting site that recognises the contribution of blogs on the internet. Later that year, at the Blogging Awards in Melbourne, I received 2 Sponsor Challenge Awards, which lift the profile of the Plumbette even more. Last year, the blog was placed in the alumni selection of the best blogs within Australia. It's also now archived by the National Library of Australia, as they recognise it as a website worth archiving for future readers. Despite the achievements and the awards, the best part about starting the Plumbette for me has been the connections I've made with male and female plumbers, not only within Australia, but actually worldwide. The readership is an equal mix of men and women, and I've had encouraging comments and emails from plumbers in Brisbane or elsewhere saying, "Thank you for writing that post," or "What you shared resonated with me because I'm going through the exact same issue." Female apprentices who abandoned their apprenticeship because they found it too hard or found that they were being bullied actually found my blog and found the courage to finish what they started from reading some of my blog posts. And I've got those comments and I hold them dear, and that's what really keeps driving me to keep the Plumbette going. Due to the public profile of the Plumbette, I get media inquiries for comments or editorials relating to plumbing issues. I'm able to direct journalists to plumbers I know within Australia that are better fit for their article if I'm unable to comment myself. My goal has never been to create a name for myself, but simply to offer sound advice and to voice an opinion over issues that face our industry today. For example, the importance of using a licensed plumber, why plumbers charge a call-out fee, and why Google is not a plumber to be trusted. This year, I made a commitment to write a Monday motivational post specifically to encourage women in the trades. The posts have been popular, and a recent article was seen by over 4,000 people in one day. Being a female plumbing ambassador for Queensland and collaborating with the Master Plumbers Association of Queensland will mean we can work together to encourage women to consider it a trade career. On Tuesday this week, we celebrated International Women's Day. It's a fact that all of us have a role to play when it comes to equality for women. I don't believe the plumbing industry will be taken over by women, although I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I do believe there should be a change in the way women are considered for plumbing positions. I believe if a woman can give birth to babies, she can labour on a construction site and install plumbing. I understand the hesitations that businesses face about hiring a female plumber because Dad and I face them ourselves, with me being the prime example. It's my hope that through my ambassadorship I can smash some of those thoughts and those worries. I'd like to leave you with this thought. I'll keep going because I'm sorry, I've been doing the speech without doing the PowerPoint. And usually women can do 2 things at once, but clearly I'm not a good example this morning. But this is just to show when I got my awards down in Melbourne, and obviously my 3 daughters. And another reason why I write the blog is really to help them, a better world for them when they're coming up through the ranks, and whether they choose a trade as a career, give them the opportunity give them the opportunity to be able to do so if they choose to. And this is just a look at what my blog looks like. So the latest issue or big trend at the moment is induct toilet cisterns or concealed toilet cisterns, and so I share about, what are things that you should be looking at, because everything's all about design and style these days, and the block. Anyway, I want to leave you with this quote. She took a plunge and unplugged her future. She believed she could, so she did. When was the last time you took a plunge? And I don't mean on a block toilet. I mean a plunge in real life where you had to walk out of your comfort zone. I believe as plumbers, and all of us in working industry, we are called to plunge ourselves out of our comfort zone, because when we do, we see unusual opportunities rise up. For you, it could be offering a new plumbing service, or it could be hiring that female apprentice that you hesitated in hiring. For the female plumbers in this room, and they're sitting down over there, and myself included, how can we inspire a young generation of apprentices? What changes can we make to ensure the younger generation don't experience the same, sexist challenges we did? I hope that my story has inspired you and that you can take encouragement from my journey. I'd love for you to say hi on the Plumbette, to have a read, leave a comment. I will reply to you. And let's get the conversation happening so we can create a stronger plumbing industry. Thank you.
Yes, I think you'll agree with me that our future ambassador, well, female ambassador of the future for QPMA, you're certainly going to do a great job. She loves a chat, as you can tell, but certainly knows her stuff. Would you please put your hands together one more time for our new female ambassador? Thanks, Rebecca. All right, and you heard those figures, which are actually quite staggering. Now, I'm not good at maths, I'm going to be totally honest here, but I think that works out to be about 4% of registered plumbers are female.